Alright guys, so today we're going to continue talking about line graphs. We're going to be analyzing some line graphs. If you want to follow along with me in your book, I'm on page IN 48, I believe. Yes, IN 48, and I'm on the guided practice part. And so we're going to answer these questions, and then the next few pages have similar examples that you will work through. So this one says, use the graph to answer the question. That's what analyzing the line graph is. You're using the graph, you're analyzing, you're looking at it, and you're answering some questions about it. So here's our line graph. If you look at it, it's about the amount of snow. We have the time across our x-axis. It goes from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. That is our scale. And our intervals go by 1 hour intervals. Every one of these lines increases an hour. Up the y-axis, we have the depth. Remember, we're talking about snow. So this is the depth of snow in inches. Our scale goes from 0 to 12 inches, and our interval, every line is worth 2 inches. So our interval is 2 inches. So those are good things to note before you even start looking at the questions. Number one says, at what time is the least amount of snow on the ground? Well, if we look at our line, the least would be the lowest. 6 p.m. is the lowest dot. So at 6 p.m. is when the least amount of snow is on the ground. Now we don't know what it was at 5 p.m. It could have been lower. But from the information we have, which was 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and 8 p.m., the lowest is 6 p.m. How much snow is on the ground at 8 p.m.? So we're going to go to 8 p.m., go up. It's between 2 and 4. Okay, make sure you don't count that as 1. We've already looked at the intervals. Every line is worth 2. So we got 2, 3. 3 is between 2 and 4. So 3 inches are on the ground at 8 p.m. All right, then it says how many more inches of snow were on the ground at 8 p.m. than at 6 p.m. So now we have to do some subtraction. We know that there were 3 here at 8 p.m. and at 6 p.m. it's between 0 and 2. That would be 1. So how much more was on the ground at 8 p.m.? 3 minus 1, that gives us 2 inches. You can also just count up from the 6 p.m. to the 8 p.m. You can go, okay, 1, 2 inches. All right, then it says describe the trend in the amount of snowfall from this graph. Well, all we have is 3 hours, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. What's happening over those 3 hours will be the trend. So the trend is every hour, 1 hour goes by, 1 inch of snow. 1 hour goes by, 1 inch of snow. So we can be vague first and say the snow is increasing, but then we should be a little more specific and tell how it's increasing. So it's easy to see that over these 2 hours really, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., that the snow has increased. But how has it increased? Well, every hour it increases 1 inch. So the snow is increasing 1 inch every hour. Okay, so then it asks us if the snow continues to fall. So now we're going to be making a prediction. This isn't necessarily a fact that's happened. Actually, it's definitely not a fact that's happened. We are making a prediction about what would happen in the future, and none of us are prophets. So it's just a prediction, just a guess. If the snow continues to fall the same amount each hour, how many inches of snow will there be at 9 p.m.? So it says if it stays the same, so you need to make sure we increase at the same ratio. So 1 more hour passes, 1 more inch of snow. 1 more hour passes, 1 more inch of snow. If that continues, that pattern, that line is going to stay straight. It's not going to go down or up, increase at a different rate. It's going to stay straight if it's increasing at the same rate. So at 9 p.m., if it's increasing at that same rate, it's up to 4 inches. All right, you have some similar problems to work through.